Elon Musk says Ross Gerber is such an idiot that he can't even tell he's an idiot. BYD sales dropped by 42% from last quarter. This was a tough quarter for everyone. Elon Musk has called out Ross Gerber before, but not like this. And most importantly, with these disastrous sales numbers, Tesla has fallen all the way down to the #1 EV sales chart spot. Some Tesla stock investors are trying to figure out how Elon's post on X caused BYD sales to drop 43%. I think this is the most valid criticism I've seen so far. I see Elon parroting the same argument that a lot of the usual suspect feedback loop breakers are saying to excuse Tesla's quarter. BYD is indeed down 42% quarter to quarter, but the company had insane growth last quarter and the auto business is seasonal. On top of that, which I think is the most important part, year over year, BYD is actually up 13%, while Tesla is down 8.5%. I think that's what most people are actually worried about. But when you realize that BYD is releasing a new model left and right very often, I think the question becomes more like, why didn't BYD grow a lot more year over year? For Tesla, the next major growth catalyst in terms of deliveries is going to be the next generation vehicle, but that will take a little bit of time. Until then, likely we are going to enjoy a buying opportunity of Tesla stock unless FSD suddenly gets much better. And by the way, I just tried FSD myself in my vehicle yesterday. I'll share my detailed experience a bit later, but overall my takeaway is it's not perfect, but my confidence of robotaxi definitely becoming a reality in the future has certainly gone up. I'm especially impressed how good it is in construction zones. Before with V11, I would have to disengage before any construction zone, because if I didn't, it would do something really silly. V12 did not do anything silly even a single time during my 1 hour drive, and I have probably gone through at least 10 construction zones. There's so much construction here in Vancouver City right now. I also had emergency vehicles and I handled these fine too. It's definitely not perfect and there were issues, but the rate of improvement is mind-boggling. Keep in mind, I'm in Canada, and I don't think Tesla prioritizes Canada. And with some of the companies in China realizing that a vision approach is a better approach and that you need an end-to-end approach to solve autonomy, and because Tesla has so much more data, Tesla has 6 million vehicles on the roads, and that number is increasing rapidly. Other companies have how many? A few hundred, a few thousand. So my confidence has certainly improved, but there are issues, and I will talk about those. And perhaps the most important part, before the V11, remember how I said many times, I really don't like driving with it if I go to a new area that I'm not familiar with, because I would just not know when it would disengage suddenly and do something really silly. But I liked it in areas that I was really familiar with. With V12, actually, I would prefer to keep it on in areas that I have never been to. It's that good. And that's primarily because I value my safety. And a few times yesterday during my 1 hour drive, it noticed a few things before I did. And I really liked how smoothly it can change lanes, and it's like another person watching out for you to make sure that you're not doing anything silly. James has provided us with a pretty detailed update about what's going on with Tesla right now. I think it's a fairly decent post. I am struggling to reconcile all of the posts I am reading about the excuses for this Q1 performance. I don't want to name names because I like some of these people, but guys, please accept reality. Demand is well below supply and even much further below production capacity. This is the truth. Sure, the reasons vary slightly regionally, fine, but it's time to face reality. In aggregate, quarter over quarter, days of supply almost doubled from 16 to 30. Inventory vehicles increased by 50,000. And this quarter, production actually dropped by 61,000 quarter over quarter, but there were issues with the Red Sea and the terrorist attack. James continues, this is with Tesla vehicle average selling price at an all-time low, basically. I think ASP may get a small boost from Cybertruck this quarter, but meh, still down massively year over year. Also, I don't think relative performance versus other EV sales and brands is relevant either. This is Copium. Tesla competes with cars, not just EVs. I have always made this case. When it was a bullish argument, EV share is irrelevant, people agreed with it. Now it being used by bulls to defend Tesla's lackluster sales. Who gives a crap about EV share? Who gives a crap about other company EV profitability? Ask Toyota if they care about the profitability of these 5 EVs they sell every quarter. James is not wrong in a sense that in the US at least, car sales year over year, overall sales are up. This is looking at February data though, not March. But I have no reason to think that March would be any different. Executive analyst at IC Cars says, Tesla is facing the reality of being demand constrained and not supply constrained for the first time in its history. Between ever-increasing competition, aging product, and a general pullback in EV sales, the most successful car company of the past 10 years has to reconsider its long-term planning. You mean like not releasing the next generation vehicle? Obviously, Tesla is working on executing its long-term plans, which is bringing new vehicles to the market. There's some arguing about was focusing on the Cybertruck first instead of the smaller, compact Tesla vehicle. Was that a mistake? I personally think if Tesla focused on a cheaper vehicle, the volume growth would continue. However, Tesla would have probably had to go with 2170 cells and not 4680 cells. But with a Cybertruck, Tesla can go with 4680 cells, focus on that technology, and then put that technology into the next generation vehicle. To maximize the stability of the share price, I think it would have been better to focus on the next generation vehicle, just get 2170 cells. But if you're like me and you are enjoying the buying opportunity, then you really don't mind Tesla first focusing on the Cybertruck. Tesla is testing a lot of new technology in the Cybertruck, which it will put into the next generation vehicle, I believe. And the next generation vehicle is going to be a very high volume vehicle. And I'm not sure if you really want to put all of this crazy new tech into such a high volume product. But the Cybertruck will basically make the technology mature first. I think the biggest reason why Tesla stock year to date has dropped is because of lower expectations for deliveries. Stephen Mark Ryan made an interesting chart. Tesla deliveries. You can see the history here, and this is reputation of butthurt babies. Stephen can certainly be quite entertaining. In the meantime, Elon Musk is celebrating all-time high traffic on X.